Thursday. It's January 22nd. It is 2026. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. And it's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. Hope you're doing very, very well. If you're a Met fan, I think you have to be doing very, very, very well. A lot of disdain toward David Stearns when he let some of your favorite Mets go. Edwin Diaz escaped to sign with the Dodgers. Pete Alonso was allowed to sign with the Orioles. McNeil was traded. Nimmo was traded. All of those players that you seem to like, gone. And you wondered, what is this guy's plan? Does he have any allegiance to what the fans believe in and what they want? And the answer is no, he doesn't. He did when he first took over. He did not like the players that he ultimately let go. But having grown up in New York and knowing the attention and the attraction that fans have for certain players, he didn't want to go nuclear right when he stepped in. So he kept them together, and then, much to his surprise, those players helped lead the team to the 6th game of the National League Championship Series. So again, he was locked in to keeping them one more time. But an 83 and 79 season allowed him to do what he wanted probably 2 years too late. And now he has reshaped the team. Now, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that this was ultimately the nice, clean plan. I think there's been adjustments. Obviously, they went hard and heavy for Kyle Tucker. And Tucker ended up signing with the Dodgers. But just in a week or so, if you're a Met fan, you have to admit that you have to feel differently about your team. He pivoted from losing Tucker and signed Bo Bichette. He made the trade for Luis Robert Jr., which I really like. I told you that yesterday. And then he makes the trade for Freddy Peralta yesterday. That's pretty darn good. You know, Freddy Peralta, whichever way you want to look at it, could be the number 1, number 2. See if Senga comes back on top of his game. See if McClain can finish off or pick up where he left off last year. Mets have got themselves a little bit of a pitching staff now. Bullpen, I still think it needs a little work. But for the most part, if you look at all of the projections and odds from Vegas, the Mets with these moves have moved ahead of the Phillies in the the National League East, and obviously ahead of the Atlanta Braves as well. So from a team that didn't seem like it had direction, didn't seem like it had a plan, was upsetting its fan base, here we go. Now, they didn't get Peralta for free by any stretch of the imagination. They didn't. They traded 2 top 100 prospects. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I understand what they did. They traded Brandon Sproat, who last year in 4 games with the Mets, 4.79, and they traded Jet Williams. Always highly thought of, high draft pick by the Mets, 5'7", small guy, but he can run, and he has a lot of skills. But you got to give up something to get something. And the Mets gave up such a significant package that I would think that they probably feel pretty good about the fact that they could actually sign Peralta long-term. Because if they get 1 year out of him and they don't get a championship out of that 1 year, they might regret that deal. But right now you can't, because their pitching staff was the last thing that had to be addressed, and he went out and he got one of the best pitchers available. Maybe the price for Mackenzie Gore was too high. I don't think Tarek Skubal is available. I just don't. I think the Tigers are going to try to run it and get the last year out of him. And if they're not contending, then they'll trade him at the trade deadline. You know what? They'll get just as much for him in July as they would have today. So the Mets get the pitcher that's only owed $8 million. And this is a pitcher that David Stearns acquired from the Marlins when he was the Milwaukee GM. So he likes the guy's stuff. Last year, what a season, 32 games started, 17-6, 2.70 ERA. For his career, 211 games started, 70-42 with a 3.59 ERA. He used to be Fastball Freddy. He's not that anymore. He is a pitcher. Still has a good fastball, but he can pitch. He has command of many, many pitches, and I love the move for the Mets. I really do. I like everything that they've done. The Bo Bichette thing, out of nowhere, trying him at third base, that's a little bit of a challenge, but boy, that guy can hit. That's a nice bat to add to the lineup. So their lineup is going to be able to score runs. It will be able to score runs. Polanco can hit. We know that Bichette can hit. I think Luis Robert had 38 home runs in 2023. And I think that being in a different atmosphere, in a contending situation, might get the best out of him after 2 subpar years. And we know he could field. So even if he doesn't hit, he's a superb defender. So right now, the Mets starters, Peralta, McClain, Senga, Manaea, Holmes, Peterson, and waiting on the side, Christian Scott and Jonah Tong. I'm wondering, if you're a Met fan, do you feel differently now than you did 2 weeks ago? Because fans react so viscerally when the work is not yet done. It's like building a house and coming in halfway and just hating what you see. Well, I mean, there's still another, 4 months before the house is finished. David Stearns bided his time and made his moves. I mean, they were lurking for Tucker. Now, would Tucker have been a better fit than Bichette? Yeah, because they're a little short on outfielders. Who's going to play left field for them? Is it going to be Brett Beatty? Well, if you got Tucker, maybe you don't even get Robert after that. And then you take a chance with the kid in center field. And then you have Beatty play third base. Well, Beatty was going to see some action. And the funny part is the Mets could still probably use another starter, maybe use another left fielder. And they've got such prospect capital in their system. I mean, you could turn around and trade Scott. You could trade Tong. You have an abundance of starting pitching now. So within 10 days, the Mets were in a position of looking up at the Phillies, and the Phillies were about to sign Bo Bichette, and they would have really took a firm hold on the National League East. The Mets lost out on Tucker. Then they offered Bichette a short-term, high AAV deal, and Bichette, who had a 7-year, $210 million deal with the Phillies, didn't sign anything, took the Mets offer, and all of a sudden, the Phillies spiraled. They are now the second best team in the East. And the Braves took a hit. Their shortstop went down. He's going to be out for 5 months. So they had to sign Jorge Mateo. They're also short on starting pitching. So the Mets are the clear favorites in the East. So if you're the clear favorites in the East, you know what? That means you're the second best team in the National League. No matter who wins the Central, whether it's the Brewers or the Cubs or the Reds make a run at it, it's going to be the Dodgers and the Mets. It might come down to that. So congrats to the Mets. Now let's look at the Bellinger deal that broke yesterday when we were on the air. At first blush, you say, well, Boris blinked. But now when you take a deeper look, you could see that Boris got something out of it that he wanted. All right? So they settled at 5 years, 162. The Yankees were holding firm at 162.5. The Yankees were holding firm at 5 years, 160. So they moved the $2.5 million extra. Boris backed off the 7 years, which I don't think he had anywhere else. But he's playing a game. He's negotiating. So the way the deal breaks down is he makes $32.5 million this year, $32.5 million next year, and a $20 million signing bonus. So this deal essentially, everybody, is $85 million for the first 2 years, giving him an average annual value of $42.5 million, which means that he makes more than Bichette makes. And don't think that was an accident. It wasn't an accident that when Alex Rodriguez signed that huge contract with the Texas Rangers, that it was exactly double what Kevin Garnett signed with the Timberwolves at that time. So he went from being the highest paid player in sports, Garnett, to having his contract doubled by Boris and A-Rod. Now, if you look at the way this deal is structured, $85 million for 2 years. So that's an average annual value of $42.5. After that, the money drops. He's going to be 32 years old after that. The same age as Bregman, who just signed a big contract with the Cubs. So if Cody has these 2 good years, that's it. He's going to opt out. And I don't even think the Yankees would care about that. Because if he opts out, then they're getting rid of the back years of a contract when the guy is getting older. And they would have paid top dollar for him, $42.5 million a year. So after the 2027 season, what Boris got was 3 years, $77 million protection against injury or against bad play. And if you're the Yankees and he's awful in 2027, you probably want him to opt out, but he's going to opt in then and stay with the 3 years at 77. The way the contracts are going right now, a 32-year-old Bellinger who's healthy, coming off a year that's similar to the one that he just came off of, 272, 29 home runs, 98 runs batted in. You know what? He's going to get more than 3 years at $77 million. So it's a win for the Yankees. They get back a player they wanted. Boris could frame it as a win for him. He gets a higher average annual value than Bichette did. And he becomes a free agent if he opts out after that second year at the age of 32, the same age as Bregman, and that didn't seem to stop Bregman. So a multi-positional player who's athletic should be able to age well, and there might be a market for him at that time. I think the Yankees got what they wanted. Boris didn't get 7 years, but he got a higher average annual value than Bichette, obviously less than Tucker, but, he's not the player that Tucker is. He's not as consistent as Tucker. He had a better year last year in terms of WAR than Tucker did, but the bottom line is Tucker consistently will give you a WAR of 4+ and never deviate. Cody does deviate. So we'll see how it works out. So the Yankees essentially, other than bringing in Weathers, are running back last year's team, much to the chagrin and disgust of a lot of vocal Yankee fans. So I did check it out, and I took a look at where they stand in terms of odds in the American League. To win the American League with the same team, essentially, that they had last year, except that you're going to have Cole starting in June, and you have Weathers in the rotation at the beginning. The Yankees still are the favorites. Number 2 is Seattle, and number 3 is Toronto. So then I did a little bit of a deeper dive. And since FanDuel is such a great sponsor of our show, I wanted to take a look at what FanDuel is projecting in terms of wins. All right, so the number one projection that FanDuel has for wins is the Dodgers at 102.5. The Yankees are second at 93.5. Philadelphia is 91.5. Seattle is 90.5. The Mets are just under 90. In fact, FanDuel has not updated the Mets, so we'll take a look at the there's another Vegas odds maker that has them at 89.5, but FanDuel hasn't updated them. Toronto is at 91.5. Atlanta's at 88.5. The Cubs are at 89.5. The Red Sox are projected at 87.5. San Diego at 86.5. And Houston at 85.5. So, listen, I understand Yankee fans are not happy because I understand what they're going to say. We weren't as good as the Blue Jays last year, and they slapped us around during the regular season, and then they ended our season in the divisional round. So why should we feel good about them? But again, Vegas, which knows things, has them projected for the most wins in the American League. 3 more wins projection-wise than Seattle, which is second. And Toronto is at 91.5. Toronto and the Yankees finished with the same record last year. Both had 94 wins. But I guess that Vegas is looking at Toronto. Well, they lost Bichette. They added Okamoto. We don't know what Okamoto is. Bassett is essentially replaced by Cease. And they look at it and go, can those players have the same years as they had last year? I think Toronto's very, very good. I'd say they're about equal with the Yankees, but I'm just telling you what Vegas thinks. And I wonder what Yankee fans, how they deal with that. Because I think, for the most part, Yankee fans, at least the vocal part of them, maybe that's the minority, maybe it's the majority, they're not happy at all. How could you run back the same team that got eliminated in the second half or in the second round? But I look at it this way. The Yankees really thought their team was good. I've told you this about Boone. He thought better about this team than the one that went to the World Series the year before. So let's talk about it. We have Dan Orlovsky coming on at 1:30, so we'll take your phone calls right now. And we'll start off with Brendan in Paramus. Brendan.
Michael, how you been?
Good. How you doing, Brendan?
I'm doing so great. It's good to talk to you. I just want to say that even though the Mets brought in Bichette, I was a little worried that they could still bring in Bellinger. So I'm actually a happy Yankee fan. I'm so thankful the Mets were able to make their pivot and the Yankees were able to play their cards right with Bellinger, because I was listening to you and Jeff yesterday, and Belly could have had some big offers somewhere else. So I'm so grateful they're able to retain him.
No, it's funny, though, Brendan, and I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, what Jeff Passan of ESPN said, that he thought there was short-term average annual values out there for Bellinger that got up to $39 million a year. This offer the Yankees gave him is better than that because he's getting $42.5 million each of the first 2 years. And if he opts out, there's more money there. This is better than a shorter average annual value of 3 years. And then he has the protection if he's injured or ineffective at the 3 year, $77 million that's left over. This is a better offer because it's a higher average annual value over the first 2 years. Greg in the work truck. Greg.
Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Before I get to my point, I told you a couple of weeks ago I had a procedure. I wanted to let you know that it was successful, sir.
Excellent. So you're back at work, too?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Good for you. I'm glad.
Thank you, sir. I feel good and a little bit skittish about the Peralta trade.
Why?
Love that they got a starter. I felt this way for years when it came to acquiring pitchers for prospects. I'm not thrilled with getting a rental per se and giving up the amount of talent that the Mets did. That's just my thing. Now, if they go out and sign him to a 2, 3, or 4, however long it might be, I'll be fine with it. But for right now, I'm just a little uneasy that he's a rental.
Well, you know what? I mentioned that, Greg, too. But I don't think that Jet Williams was going to be part of this team this year. And there was an outside chance that Sproat could have been part of the team. But he would have been at the bottom of the rotation. By making this trade, you got a Peralta who's at the top of the rotation. It's kind of a deal they had to make. They had to strengthen their starting rotation. And their minor league system now is so stout and so deep that you can make trades like this. The trade does dim if they don't keep him long term. But if he has a great year this year and they win a championship and it's just for 1 year, well, you take that trade every single time. Just like the Yankees would take the trade they made for Soto every single time. They got to the World Series with him. Now, they didn't win, but they got to the World Series. And if you're the Mets and you want to keep Peralta, other than the Dodgers, who's going to outbid you? And the Dodgers are said to be in on Peralta as well. So the Mets swooped in and got him. The Mets were going to have to give up talent to get him, and they did. And I don't blame them. Doug in Queens. Doug.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm good, Doug. How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to get your takes on a couple of things. I do like the Mets getting Freddy Peralta. Nothing crazy about that. But my biggest thing is, in terms of when you think the Mets are going to re-sign him, what kind of contract do you think they're going to offer him? Because obviously he'll be 29, 30, and obviously we know David Stearns isn't like the 7-year, 8-year kind of guy. And then another point I just wanted to ask was another thing I'm worried about for a team that's been preaching run prevention all season. We're going to have 3 positions, especially first base, third base, and left field, where I don't even think guys have gotten starts there. So what's your thought about that in the run prevention sort of thing?
Well, we'll do the second part first, Doug, if that's okay. Yeah, third base and first base is questionable. But what David Stearns said yesterday, all 4 infielders played shortstop at one point. So you would think they had the athletic ability. You wonder about Bichette's arm at third, but he's such a good athlete, I think he'll work it out. When you look at defense and you're evaluating defense, you want to evaluate defense up the middle. So in Robert, they got a 7 outs above average center fielder. He's outstanding. Good glove, great speed, good arm. You've got Lindor, Gold Glove level. You've got Simeon, a literal Gold Glove second baseman from last year, and Alvarez behind the plate. So up the middle, their defense is better than it was last year. As for the contract, yeah, that's why I don't think that the Mets were ever really in on Cody Bellinger. They weren't going to give him a 5-year deal. It'll be interesting to see. They have offered longer-term deals to pitchers that are younger, but Peralta will be 29, 30 going into next year. Would they give him a 5-year deal? I don't know. We'll see how he pitches. Maybe they do something early. Remember, Peralta's been working on a bargain deal because when Milwaukee got him, he was not a highly thought of prospect. He signed a 5-year, $15 million deal. A bargain. But he took the security, and at the end of that 5-year deal were 2 $8 million options, which, of course, Milwaukee picked up. So this guy has not made much money. 16 plus 15, $31 million he's made in 7 years. So if the Mets came in and offered him $75 million for 3 years right now, maybe they know that he would take it. Maybe he's that guy that would take it. Stearns knows the player, got him to agree to an unbelievable, undervalued contract all those years ago. Maybe he does it again. Anthony in South Carolina. Anthony.
Michael.
Anthony.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Great, man. Thanks. I got to ask a question about the Yankees, but first I have a quick little story about the first time I met you, the first and only time.
All right.
Okay, so it was at a restaurant. It was a restaurant in New York City, early 2001. I was one of your waiters. It was a cocktail event. So in the corner, Charlie Steiner and John Sterling are talking. So I go talk to them, and I say to them, "Where's Michael?" And they say, "He's over there." And they start laughing, and they say to me, "Anthony, do us a favor. Go over to Michael and say, you need a haircut." And they're laughing about this. So I knew this was going to be diabolical. So I went over there, and I said it to you. I said, "Michael, you need a haircut." And you yelled at me, and you said, "I just got one." And it was just some thing they had. I don't know, but I was used for that. So it was fun that way.
Oh, cool.
Anyway,
the
the
you
Yankees.
Remember the restaurant?
Yeah, the restaurant was called Tuscan Steak. It was on 40th
Oh, yeah,
and
I
3rd.
remember that. I remember that place.
That was me. I was there. It was me. I know the Yankees aren't contractually obligated to do this, but with everything going on with these contracts, do you think they'll sit down and take a look at the Judge contract, revise it, and give them more money? Give them more money.
No.
You don't think so?
No. As much as they love him, when he signed that contract, it was top of the line, top pay, and the market has passed it by. So, I mean, now they've got the bargain. At the beginning, they didn't think they had the bargain. They paid top dollar. So I don't think they would do that. I don't. I know that Hal Steinbrenner has a great relationship with Judge and with Cole, as he should. And they have some say in what's going on. They really do. But I just think you'd be defeating the purpose of having a contract that is now skewed in your favor by skewing it back in Judge's favor in order to make it close to what people are getting. I mean, what would you do? Add a 10th year at $120 million for 1 year? I don't think they'll do that. I mean, that would be like a gold watch. Because if you look at Judge and his production, last year he had like an 11 WAR. 11, which is, I mean, just ridiculous how good it is. And they value WAR at $10 million a win. So last year, he gave the Yankees $110 million of production for $40 million. But I do not think they will readjust his contract, just like the Phillies will not readjust the contract of Bryce Harper. When you sign the deal, it's great. and then the deal gets dwarfed by other deals. It's all about timing. It's like real estate. It's all about timing. So I think Judge is happy with his contract, probably a little envious of people that aren't close to him as a player, like Kyle Tucker making $60 million a year. But I think Judge is a man of his word, and he would never go to the Yankees and say, I want more. When we come back, Dan Orlovsky will talk some football. We're down to 4 this weekend, and a lot of things happen over this week as well. We'll talk to Dan in just a moment. Hey, FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on the upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Hey, you know the matchups. The Patriots traveling to Denver and the Rams are traveling to Seattle. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hi, this is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. I've talked about how a construction accident took my father's leg. The heavy prosthetic he wore looked nothing like the high-tech limbs we have today. It was crude wood and metal, held together by bolts that dug into his skin and left painful ulcers. But the thing I remember about my dad is how he never complained. He put on his prosthetic leg and he went to work. He coached my baseball teams, danced, sang karaoke, and even loved to travel. He may have limped, but he always held his head up high and he lived with dignity. At D'Agostino & Associates, I spent over 35 years building a law firm that helps accident victims and those in need of their Social Security disability benefits. We fight till our clients get the money and dignity they deserve. So call us today at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey. So don't tell me personal injuries aren't personal. I know what they can cost a family. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Limited time. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at the Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Looking for the best meat and seafood at unbeatable prices? Get to Wild Fork Foods. They offer the widest selection of meats and seafoods you'll find anywhere. Everything is blast frozen to lock in flavor and nutrients, from beef and poultry to seafood, pork, and even exotic and game meats. You'll get the best value for your buck. Visit one of their 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or order online for same-day delivery at wildforkfoods.com. Wild Fork Foods, your neighborhood's meat and seafood market.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
Rich Eisen here. LinkedIn Jobs is stepping things up with their new AI assistant so you can feel confident you're finding top talent. Get this. Employees hired through LinkedIn are 30% more likely to stick around for at least a year compared to those hired through the leading competitor. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
All right, every Thursday at this time, we get a chance to talk to Dan Orlovsky. The Dan Orlovsky Report brought to you by Boost Mobile. Dan, I got to start off because I need you to help me out. Give me some clarity. What happened in Buffalo yesterday? What was that? It seems so discombobulated, throwing a player that's on the roster under the bus in Keon Coleman. What was going on with Pegula in that press conference?
Yeah, it certainly seemed, one, you can still hear and feel the emotion of expectation from the weekend. They truly believed, and rightfully so, that they were going to win that game. They believed as an organization going into the game, and as the game is unfolding, you're sitting there thinking, we're going to win this game. And then, obviously, the Cooks bang play, interception catch, you sit there and say, like, it feels like it gets ripped out from underneath you again. And so that still is festering, it sounds like. Then, two, there was obviously no plan. There was no plan that how they were going to, or how Terry Pegula was going to communicate, this is why we made the decision that we made. And, you know, because he blamed it on four different things: the catch or the interception, the loss, the proverbial playoff wall, Josh Allen crying, and the emotion in the locker room from the team. So just a clear lack of a plan for how communication was going to be handled.
And the one disconnect to me, Dan, that I don't understand is he kept saying it was because of that loss that he made the change. If they had won the game, right, he wouldn't have. And then he said that the loss was predicated on that bad call. Well, you're going to fire a coach because an official, in your opinion, made a mistake? That doesn't make sense, Dan.
Yeah, it also it's holding the hostage, or at least holding hostage the future of the football team off of one play, because they lose the game one play, whatever one play it is, whether it's that play call, whether it's, you know, Josh missing a throw, whether it's a pass interference penalty, you're holding the future hostage over one call. That's just uncharacteristic and reckless for a $1 billion company. And, you know, for an organization that has this really good, and rightfully so, public perception, I think a lot of us watched and were scratching our heads of going, what was that? Because it's not what was expected.
Dan, do you think that McDermott's a good coach?
Oh, yeah. There's no question. I mean, they have more wins in the last 6 years in the regular season than anybody. Yes, they got good players, but, you know, he's a very good coach. And, Michael, I said this, like, he's a very good coach. I understand the decision, though. I've been around the NFL long enough to know there's 6 or 8 teams that truly believe and should that they can win the Super Bowl that year. They have been in that grouping for about 5 years now. They haven't even made it. And so I can understand where an owner could say, we needed to change. I don't necessarily think you're going to find someone as in the now better, but he's a very good coach.
So now there's rumors about maybe Brian Daboll getting that job. Would that be a good move for them?
I think Brian Daboll's a good move if it means that, one, I can keep Joe Brady as the play caller, and two, that Josh and him are not too close. I think this is a situation where you've got to be really careful hiring Josh's friends. And Josh is a likable guy. He's as enjoyable to be around as you'll be around when it comes to a star athlete. He's a good dude that is just made and cut from the right stuff. But you do not want a buddy. That organization should not chase comfort right now. You fired a great coach to get over the hump, to make the final leap. You're not going to do that by friendship. You're going to do that by, doing things the challenging way and accountable way. And I think friends, it's hard to hold people at that high leverage role accountable. And so I do like Dable there, yes.
All right, so let's shift to the Giants for a moment. So they get their guy in Harbaugh. They have the press conference on Tuesday, and he says that he wants to win right away, and he could see being in the playoffs this coming year. Do you envision that, as good as a coach as he is? Do you think he could turn it around that much in 1 year?
I do. I don't want to sell this lie that this is a team that, you're going to replicate what New England did this year. I don't see that, no. But you have 5 double-digit fourth-quarter leads that you give away. That tells me that there are moments where things did go the right way and the players did do things the right way. It's obviously a team that has more young defensive talent than that record displays. You got to get healthy, and I think there's a couple pieces, a piece or two on the offensive line, a receiver opposite neighbors. I do think this is a team that can play meaningful snaps in December and be contending for a playoff spot. Yes.
Do you believe it's because of, the discipline and the resume and the culture that he wants to install more so than any talent that they have?
I mean, players win games, so you still need talent. But I do think it's having somebody at the head of your building that knows every day what it looks and sounds and feels like. That's talking March, what the preparation of the offseason, the way you approach and view the combine, the way you evaluate your own team, the way that you go into evaluating other players in the league, the way that you want to go throughout the draft process, your 1 through 90 in the offseason, how you handle OTAs, how you handle minicamp, how you handle training camp, who you want to practice against, how you want to divide. He understands what that sounds and feels like. What do you do with the team that's tired in camp? When do you pull it back? When do you press it on? And so I think that is invaluable in many ways. And then you add talent to that, obviously. But I do think just the head of the household knowing what it should sound like.
Let's move to the games this weekend. Patriots and the Broncos. What can the Broncos expect from Stidham? How much of a hit is it not having Bo Nix as the quarterback?
Yeah, I think you miss Bo Nix's athleticism and clutch element. I mean, Bo Nix was very, very, very clutch. We saw it again this past Saturday, But I don't think they're going to be cautious with Jarrett Stidham. He's been around. He's smart. He's been in systems. I think that they're understanding that if they go into this game and play it cautious, they're not giving themselves the best chance to win. Sean Payton is not inherently wired to be cautious. I think they'll be aggressive. I think that they'll run their offense just like Bo Nix was running their offense and trust Jarrett to make throws down the field. And the best thing for this team is to jump early. They want to let their pass rush jump on New England's pass protection. They want to let those pass rushers try and trace Drake May, who's had some ball security issues. So I don't think that this is going to be a cautious approach. And if you're Jarrett Stidham, you got to let Sean Payton win the game, not you. Sean Payton's won Super Bowls. They didn't bring you there to win the AFC title game. It's not on you to go do that. Sean Payton, you were brought there to win the AFC title game. You do it, not me.
Now, there's a story that when the Giants lost Phil Simms that year, Bill Parcells spoke to the team and said, if we lose, it's not going to be because it's Jeff Hostetler. It's going to be because one of you bleeps makes a bleeping mistake. Is that the tack you think that Sean Payton will take?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's the proper one. I think that's the way, and that goes back to Stidham. This is a top 3 defense. No. You guys don't look to me. I'm looking to you guys. You guys go win us the game. And same with the offense. No. You guys go win us the game. The same with Sean Payton, I think, and that's why it's important for Jarrett Stidham to go into that offense and be like, I don't like these plays. Don't call them. I like these plays. Call them a ton. Figure out different ways to call them. And so, yeah, I don't think that they're going to place this game at the feet of Jarrett Stidham and say, go win this for us. Just don't lose it. If he does not lose this game, like if he doesn't go out and lose the game, you don't want to wait. Like, listen, we saw C.J. Stroud lose the game for Houston. If he doesn't go lose the game for Denver, they're going to be in a one-score game with the chance to win it late.
All right, so the other game, Rams in Seattle. I'll tell you what, Dan, I actually thought the 49ers were going to keep it close, and they got embarrassed. That defense looked suffocating. So the Rams didn't do all that much against Chicago, bad weather and all that. How do they score against the Seattle defense, even though they have a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yeah, and 4 weeks ago they put 43 on them or whatever, and so these teams know each other. These coaches know each other. They know what their weaknesses and their strengths and how to attack. If the Rams' offensive line can keep Matthew Stafford clean, they'll have success throwing the football. They just know how to work these zones and attack the middle of the field. Excuse me. I would tell you this, Michael. That was one of the things that showed up that I was surprised about was the Rams' offensive line did not play great last week in Chicago. So keep them clean and their 3 tight end usage. They can have success against this defense. And excuse me.
Bless you. Is he still there?
I'm here. Yep. So I think, like I said, I think if you keep Matthew clean because of the way that they know how to attack, you can have success.
Now, I'm wondering, and you watching the tape, and I know you go through this with a fine-tooth comb, Stafford didn't look that sharp. Is his finger bothering him? Was it the cold? What do you think it was? But was it because there was a lot of pressure on him?
I think it was partly pressure, yes, and you credit Chicago. I think you saw Sean McVay post-game go up to Dennis Allen and say, hey, you whooped me. Well, I don't think the finger's this incredibly detrimental thing. Do I think it's got a small percentage of impact? Yes. I think I got a text from somebody saying this weather is painful right now. So I do believe that the weather had a relatively fair impact. I mean, the week before he threw for 380 or 360 on the road versus Carolina. So I'm not overly concerned with the finger. And I would expect him to very much so play at the level that we saw him play for the great majority of the season.
Good stuff, Dan. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Thank you, boss.
You got it. That was the Dan Orlovsky Report brought to you by Boost Mobile. Don't overpay. Get unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month. Forever. For life. For real. Switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, you may experience slower speeds. We'll come back, take more of your phone calls. The Giants, seismic changes for the Giants. We'll talk about them when we get back. And Chris Sims will join us at 2 o'clock. We'll talk more football with him. Continue to take your phone calls at 1-800-919-3776. It's the K-Show, 2 hours of joy right here on ESPN New York.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Show your team spirit and save big only at Security Dodge during the Start Something New sales event. For a limited time, score an extra $500 off on top of all rebates and new incentives just for coming in and wearing your favorite team's jersey or swag. High school, college, or pro, football, basketball, hockey, and every sport in between. It's easy to win big at Security Dodge in Amityville. Visit us today or shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's Extra Multiplier Scratch-Off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself! We won!
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
At PC Richard & Son, we don't just sell you appliances.
We show you what they can do and how the features work. Because service isn't just selling appliances, it's making sure they work for you. Right now, save up to 35% on qualifying top brand appliances. Buy more, save more, with up to $600 in additional savings when you buy 2 or more. Great service, great savings, plus free delivery. It's kind of our thing. PC Richard & Son. Service. It has a sound. Free delivery excludes Manhattan.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Welcome to Jake's 58 Casino Hotel, where excitement never stops. Unleash the fun with 2 floors of gaming action, featuring 1,000 cutting-edge video and electronic machines. Enjoy exceptional service at a prime location that places you right in the heart of Long Island's excitement. Stay and play in style with over 200 hotel rooms and treat yourself to a full range of dining options at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone you care about, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Rich Eisen here. As you all know, I care deeply about pediatric cancer research and awareness. That's why I'm proud to talk about Hyundai Hope on Wheels. For over 27 years, every Hyundai sold has helped fund life-saving pediatric cancer research. Together with over 850 dealers nationwide, they've raised more than $277 million, supporting over 25,000 kids in their fight against cancer. At Hyundai, hope isn't optional. It comes standard. Visit HyundaiUSA.com and search Hyundai Hope on Wheels to learn more.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
Ah, yes, game time. Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7:30, Mavericks host the Warriors. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. right here on ESPN New York, so it's a quiet day locally. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Patriots Texans drew 37.9 million viewers across ESPN and ABC. ESPN's best audience ever. Now that doesn't include, my old afternoon show, because we used to get audience bigger than that, but the biggest audience ever. and Austin Karp said he looked at old ABC Sports. It's also the best non-Super Bowl, passing the epic 2006 Texas USC Rose Bowl, which was the BCS title game. 37.9 million viewers, Patriots, Texans, and it wasn't a great game. I mean, Texans couldn't do anything when it came to offense, but it had the perfect combination of weather, snow, cold, visually very pleasing. It's night, people are home watching it, and the NFL is the gift that keeps giving. And that's why if they open up the contract again, people will pay even more, and the streamers will pay an incredible amount. When you look at the numbers that the playoff game got on Prime, they have now passed that problem area. Well, if it's on streaming, are they going to get the same numbers as over the air? They're going to come pretty damn close. So one of the holdups with the Giants making it official with John Harbaugh was he wanted to shape the organization the way he wanted to shape it. He wanted changes. And one of the changes was reporting directly to the owner. Tom Coughlin didn't even have that. That was not the Giant way. So Harbaugh did not want to report to Shane. He wanted to report to Mara and Tisch. And that got worked out. And now we see some of the other things that's happening that within the Giants family structure, shocking. Kevin Abrams, who was hired in 1999 and was thought to be the guy that would be the GM after Gettleman. He's the assistant GM for 20 years. He was their cap expert. Fired. Gone. So you know that either Shane or Harbaugh are going to bring in their own guy. This is the one that really got my attention. Ronnie Barnes has been with the Giants for half a century. He is considered the 12th Mara child. He was bedside when Wellington Mara was dying. And in the eulogy that John Mara gave, he told the story that Wellington Mara said to Ronnie, "Why are you so good to me?" And Ronnie said, "Because you're good to me." He is part of the family. And so now he has been moved to a position of overseeing the medical situation with the Giants, but they are bringing in a new head trainer. This is seismic. Now, even John Harbaugh, who they desperately wanted, could not, I don't know if he wanted to, but there's no way they would ever relieve Ronnie Barnes of all of his duties. But he's not the new head trainer. He's not the head trainer anymore. And I saw a couple of reports from Baltimore that Harbaugh wants to bring in the head trainer that he had with the Ravens. So the fact that Ronnie Barnes has moved up and out of that position, it shows you the kind of power that that John Harbaugh accrued in making that decision to sign with them. Just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. Let's go to John in Bethlehem. John.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Hey, John.
Good. The Ryan Weathers acquisition, what'd you think of that? I thought it was good for the Yanks. I thought that was an under-the-radar, good upside move for them.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. The upside is tremendous. He's a 27-year-old guy, throws 97 miles an hour. He's a left-hander, former 8th pick in the first round by the Padres. He's had trouble staying healthy. If the Yankees could fix that and maybe tinker a little bit with his pitch selection and pitch shapes, the upside is tremendous. I like the deal. Yankee fans certainly didn't seem like they were overwhelmed. It's not the kind of sexy deal that they were looking for. Okay, fine. But it's kind of the under-the-radar kind of thing that the Yankees do. You know, they did it with Clay Holmes, turned him into a great closer. They did it with Luke Weaver. That's what they do. They get a hold of pitchers, and they get them in their lab, and they change the accent on certain pitches and the reliability of certain pitches, and they make them better. So if you can get a 27-year-old left-hander and you don't have to give up the world for him, I think it's a great upside move. A great upside move. John in Florida. John.
How you doing? How are you?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I have a question to ask you that I want to ask you for a long time. When will you ever be in a fantasy camp?
You mean
Yankee
actually play it?
To play.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I know you've been there, but
I think those
put
days
on
are
the
over.
uniform and play.
On February 2nd, I'm going to be 65. The last thing I need to be doing
I'm
is
60. I'm 68, and I want to do one more camp, but I want you to be there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, John. It's just
No?
I mean, I think it's great, the people that have gone there, and I've been there as I broadcasted it a couple of times. It's terrific, but I can't see myself doing it. I just can't. I used to play in the Boston, New York media game all the time, and it's just not worth getting hurt. I mean, 68 years old, you're going to play. God bless you. But those days of, I ride the life cycle, I do the elliptical, I try to stay in shape, but to have bursts of speed and stuff like that and over a week's time, Brian Hoke, who covers the Yankees for MLB.com, and he's much younger than I am, he has torn his ACL in 2 straight Boston, New York media games. It's not worth it to me. I'm not saying it shouldn't be worth it to you, but I do not see myself doing that. Please don't think of me as a wimp, but I just don't see myself doing it. Let's go to Mike in Indiana. Michael,
on Tuesday's show, you indicated that the quarterback for IU, which is Mendoza, was not an NFL quarterback.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I said I don't look at him as a number 1 pick.
Okay, well, how many games did you watch him play this year?
Not as many as you.
One game is all you saw.
No, I didn't only see one game. I saw at least 5 games that Indiana played. I saw all the playoff games that they played. So yeah, I've watched him, and I think he's a good player. I don't think he's worthy of the number 1 pick.
Well, then you disagree with Mel Kiper, then.
Oh wow! Am I allowed to disagree with Mel Kiper?
Who knows more about the draft than he does?
Well, listen, I appreciate you feeling that way, and you're obviously from Indiana, so you're a big Hoosier fan, and God bless you. It was an unbelievable year. I'm not saying the guy's not good. I don't look at him as a dynamic pick that should be the number 1 pick. He can prove me wrong. Mel Kiper could prove me wrong. And you know what? A little secret, Mike, too? Mel Kiper has actually been wrong at times. And usually I defer to Mel Kiper. He's brilliant at this stuff. I don't see a first pick in the draft sort of guy. I don't. And I wonder if he's going to stay as the first pick. I mean, the Raiders are desperate for a quarterback, so I guess they'll take him. But listen, I could be wrong, and I'll talk to Chris Sims about it in just a moment. Ray, who did we have on Tuesday that I asked that same question? Oh, Paul Feinbaum. Paul Feinbaum said, yeah, I don't see it either. So listen, I don't think I'm alone on an island. I think the kid's a good player, but just because he won the Heisman Trophy and he was in a perfect situation in Indiana with the perfect coach for him, listen, he didn't lose a game. So what more do you need out of a guy? I'm just saying, when I think of the number 1 pick, I think of somebody dynamic, somebody that's exhilarating to watch, with incredible athleticism. I don't see that with Fernando. I don't. And against a really good Miami defense, he didn't look that great in the first half. And the biggest play that he made was with his legs. Prove me wrong. I could be wrong. I hope I'm doing the show 5 years from now when he's in the Super Bowl leading a team there. I just don't see it. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I might be wrong this time, but that's my firm feeling. I don't look at him and say, wow, that's a number 1 pick. Now, he could be a first rounder, but in terms of being a number 1 pick, the first pick in the draft, I think he's going to be, but I think the Raiders might be they might be unhappy about it. Again, Chris Sims joins us in just a moment. I'll ask him that very question when we get back right here on the K Show. It's a delightful 2 hours on ESPN New York.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson for 3.
And this is your home for New York Knicks basketball. This is 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York. Thursday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Are the Knicks back on track after a dominant performance against the Nets?
First time that the Knicks have had a 50-point lead since 2013.
To go see them put it together for 48 minutes was a lot of fun.
Plus, after the Mets trade for Freddy Peralta, how would you grade the Mets pivot this offseason? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
When it comes to meat and seafood, selection matters, and no one beats Wild Fork Foods. To everyday essentials, to high-quality steaks, to seafood and more, every product is blast frozen to lock in peak flavor and freshness, so you get restaurant-quality meats at home for amazing prices. Shop in person at 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or you can order online for same-day delivery. It's easy, it's convenient, and the prices are wild. WildForkFoods.com.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead.
Really?
That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's Second Chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. New Jersey only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Progressive knows sports brings people together, but you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
2:03 here in New York City, the Michael K. Show. Every Monday through Friday from 1 to 3. And on Thursdays at 2, we get a chance to talk to our good friend NBC's Chris Sims. And he joins us now. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Michael. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well as well. Now, I just had a caller before you came on, a guy from Indiana, who took exception to the fact that I had said earlier in the week that I watched Fernando Mendoza and I don't see the first pick in the draft. He just doesn't move me like that. Not saying he's a bad player, but I want special as the first pick in the draft. Is the guy from Indiana right? Am I off base, or do you feel that way as well?
Well, wait, both can be true there a little bit, all right? So, one, I'm not like, wow, oh my gosh, blown away, right? I'm not. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I did when Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, right? That crew came out, Caleb Williams. When I saw Caleb Williams, I was like, oh my gosh, can there possibly be another quarterback in the draft that could pass this up? Oh, whoa, Jaden Daniels. Whoa, he's close, but he's not Caleb Williams. So, no, I'm not, like, blown away, I think, to what you're saying. But I still do see number one pick type of talent there. I think that's where, there's a sex appeal that maybe is missing from a Fernando Mendoza. But the results and the quarterback play are all still high level, right? I think he's a bigger guy than I think people realize, being about 6'5", right? That's going to jump out to people. You saw the other night, he's a better athlete than I think people realize. And I think that will only improve when he gets to the NFL and continues to play. And then his arm is NFL starting caliber, pretty big-time arm. Again, I'm not going to say it's Mahomes or Josh Allen or Caleb Williams, but it's real good. I mean, he can make a lot of power throws with ease and make them accurately. So from all that, yes, he is. And what teams are going to like him because they're going to go, wait, he knows how to run an offense. So he might not be as good at doing the backyard plays that we've seen Caleb Williams or Josh Allen or Mahomes or Lamar make and do all that. And I don't know if he'll ever be to that capacity in the backyard type of plays, but I do think he's a number one pick. But I also think it's okay for you to be able to say, I'm not blown away. Like, I'm not sure. And I do think there's a flair and a sexiness to his game that's missing maybe compared to other, top picks of the draft that we've seen through time.
So, Chris, in your opinion, though, it's a no-brainer. The Raiders have to take him.
Yeah, no-brainer. He's in a class of his own as far. And again, I haven't studied this, and I'll come back on once I jump into the draft stuff and all that and really break it down. But no, all in all, I think he's got a pretty significant gap between him and whoever that number 2 is, which I think is pretty much Ty Simpson in most circles in the NFL right now.
All right, so you were at the L.A.-Chicago game, and we had Dan Orlovsky on Thursday in the first hour, and then you in the second hour, and Dan said he got a text from somebody that was at the game, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, it's like as cold as death here. Was it that cold? And I give you credit, you didn't wear a hat, just like you said.
Yeah,
you braved the cold.
Obviously, right. I didn't think it was cold as death, but I'm a little tougher than Dan, so maybe he's just not used to that. I'm from Jersey, he's from Connecticut. We all know Jersey's a little tougher, so I wasn't really bothered by it. I'm just having fun. No, it was cold. There's no doubt. It was. You know what always makes places like Chicago cold? Same with Pittsburgh or Cleveland. You're by the water, and there's a dampness, right, that just feels like it just soaks through your bones and gets to your soul. So that's where you really feel it. But sitting there and thinking about playing quarterback, right, it wasn't the worst night to play quarterback. It wasn't real. The wind wasn't horrible. There was a little snow coming down, which actually can make the ball a little bit stickier and better to grip. Right, and then watching those two guys throw the ball in pregame, I was like, well, they're not going to have any problems throwing. Stafford and Caleb Williams can throw it through just about anything.
But Stafford didn't have a good game, so was it the finger or was it the cold?
No, I think it's more than that. I think it's one. Here's they haven't been on their game lately, and I think there's a few things you could talk about. Hey, they played Atlanta, late in the season. Atlanta, those coaches are from L.A. They end up understanding. Carolina, there was some ebbs and flows to that game, but let's not forget he threw for 305 yards and was clutch at the end. But again, a coach there and a defensive coordinator that came from L.A. and knows McVay. But here's the other thing that's jumping out to me with them. One, they're not running the ball enough when I watch them on film because they're running when they do. They run with great success. And I go, well, why do we not go back to it until 7 or 8 plays later? I don't get that. Here's the other thing that I think Atlanta a little bit showed and Carolina showed, and Chicago took it to another level last week. Puka Nacua is awesome. We know that. Devontae Adams is real good. We know that. But they're not the kind of guys that you're just like, oh, they're going to run by us, and if we play them, man, they're going to have 70-yard bombs. No, they're a little bit more route runner, and then McVay knows how to use their route running and get especially Puka open over the middle of the field, and he breaks arm tackles, and, he just never slows down that way. But teams are getting a little emboldened in playing them man-to-man. And Chicago last week, they put Jalen Johnson on Puka Nacua for a lot of the game, and they were like, you got him, and he did a really good job. And same on the other side with Devontae Adams. And I think you'll see that a little again this week too, where Seattle's going to go, hey, we played too much zone in that Thursday night game where Stafford threw for 400 yards a few weeks ago. We got corners that can run with these guys. And Puka Nacua came out, he ran a 4.57, and I think that's a little bit of the struggles right now going on with the Los Angeles Rams, Michael.
Before we get into the Rams-Seahawks game, I just want to ask you one thing about the game in Chicago. Where were you when Caleb Williams made that play at the end of regulation, and how stunned were you that it was made?
Well, I was already back in my hotel room, just so you know, because I was not on the post-game show, so I was like, okay, I like sitting here. We were like in some dungeon room in the tunnel of the stadium where I was like, hey, it's cool, right? I get it, guys, but I think I'll get on the bus here and go back to the room. So I was in the room. I didn't have a reaction to you, but watching as far as on TV, I mean, when he started running backwards, right, I was like, oh, gosh, the disaster, right, disaster. And he was trying to bait them so they'd come in and then he could turn the corner. He couldn't do that. When he threw the ball, though, he threw it with a little bit of like, ooh, I can kind of tell this with quarterbacks that sometimes like he liked it. Like he was like, this has a chance. There was confidence in the throw rather than just throwing a ball up. So that body language for a second was like, wait, man, is there something over there that he's going to do? And then, of course, the completion and everything went. It was crazy. It's crazy. He's amazing. He's a superstar. And he ain't going nowhere. And he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in football for a lot of years going forward here.
All right, so now it's the Rams and the Seahawks. And, the Seahawks, they embarrassed San Francisco. I mean, it wasn't even competitive, Chris. So how did the Rams beat that defense?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Seahawks are the better football team top to bottom, right? If you just ask me, like, the talent on the field and we combined all the players and made an all-22 team, we'd have more Seahawks than we would Los Angeles Rams. The big thing here in the game itself is it's Sam Darnold, it's the Seahawks. They're not used to being in this type of environment. The Rams, they're not going to be intimidated going to Seattle, right? They're battle-tested. They played a lot of big-game football, so they're going to be ready to go. But like the Rams better run the football. That's for sure. They got to run the football. And it doesn't even matter if it's for success because the way Seattle's front's playing right now, if you get too pass happy, they're going to get to the quarterback and make some things happen. But so I always expect McVay and Stafford to have some answers. But man, this Seahawks defense is up there playing at a level like the Houston Texans. It's the best right now left in the playoffs. And I think it's got the most talent too. On the other side of the ball, the Rams on defense, they're a smaller front, and the Seahawks have kind of got the game going. This is where I don't put as much into like, oh, no, I'm worried about Sam Darnold, right? Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings, they were expecting him to throw for 300 yards. We want to throw to Justin Jefferson. We want to throw to Jordan Addison. That's what we do. We don't run the ball. Seattle, he's not asked to be Sammy the Savior. He's asked to be, hey, Sammy the game manager. Hand the ball off. If this guy's open, throw it. If we take a sack, so what? Our defense is really good. And that's why I don't think there'll be a ton of pressure on him in this football game. I'm leaning Seattle here. Certainly at home, they're playing about as good as they played all year. Like you said before, the Rams have kind of been, a little up and down here as late. So I'm going to take the Seahawks 28-20 and go to Super Bowl 60.
All right, so the other game, obviously in the AFC, it's the Patriots and the Broncos. What's the best that we could expect out of Stidham?
Well, I mean, again, I think people are like discounting the Broncos a little too easily. They match up with the New England Patriots. Now, they just can't, and this is where I don't think there's going to be any drawbacks of the offense. And if you look at Sean Payton through his career, when the backup quarterbacks had to play back in New Orleans, they played great. They had great records without Drew Brees. I mean, it was like incredible. Whether it was Luke McCown, Jameis Winston, and others, they always did well there. So he'll have the proper game plan. I think the big thing is their defense has got to be able to hold down the fort just early on in the football game, just so Stidham can get in a rhythm, right? Because I got to think Mike Vrabel and the Patriots are sitting there going, all right, they're going to try to, throw some screens and run the ball and some short passes to get Stidham going early on. And nobody runs the ball on New England with great success. And then New England has corners on the outside where they can play man-to-man. And there's nobody to be scared of in Denver when it comes to playing man-to-man. So I think it could kind of be a defensive struggle there for a little while. I favor New England nonetheless. I do. I think New England's a little bit more of a complete football team. They can beat you both with the run and the pass on the offensive side of the ball. I think they have better balance. Denver's run game is just okay, right? And it's hard for me to think that they're going to win the game just running. At some point, Stidham's going to have to make some plays in the pass game. And I think he'll be able to do that, but to do it enough to where he's going to beat the Patriots and go to the Super Bowl, I got to see it to believe it before I pick against the Patriots. Now, one other thing I'll say, Michael, too, with New England, like they on offense, they got to be careful too. We know this Denver defense. We saw what it did last week. Drake May's fumbled the ball 6 times in the last 2 games. He's thrown 2 interceptions. He's been shaky. So he's got to understand, too, who he's playing against here, who the quarterback is on the other side, and be careful. But I do think between the Broncos are susceptible to being run on the defense because they're smaller up front, and I do think the Patriots can run on them. And therefore, if they can run on them, I just favor Josh McDaniels and his formula to find a few plays against that Vance Joseph defense rather than the other way around with the backup quarterback going against the Mike Vrabel defense that is very game plan specific, and I expect them to be in Super Bowl 60 against the Seahawks.
NBC's Chris Sims is our guest here on the Michael Kay Show. Were you surprised at Nick Foles' cheeky post on X about backup quarterbacks beating New England?
I mean, a little, because he's such a quiet, kind of private guy, right? But that was cool that he did that, and it is. I do think everybody is a little too flippantly like, oh, there's no way they can win. There's no way. And I know this circumstance is new, but, Nick Foles, Jeff Hostetler, Frank Reich, right? They've been in some similar situations and came through. And this is a chippy group out there in Denver. Peyton is a master motivator, and the defense is going to know that they're going to have to play their best game to help out the new quarterback and win the game. And that's where, I'm going to pick the Patriots to cover the spread, but I don't feel good about it. I'm saying 24-17 with a late score in the game to kind of go ahead, and I kind of look at it that way.
I'm curious, Chris. You mentioned Hostetler. Has your dad ever told you stories about how he felt watching his team with another quarterback? Because he had one of the greatest games ever as a quarterback in a Super Bowl to win that first Super Bowl, and then he has to watch Hostetler when he got off to a great start before he got hurt. What was going through his mind then?
Oh, it wasn't good. None of it was good, right? It's good now in revisionist history, but, that was a tough time for our family. That really was. I can remember being happy the Giants won, but sad they won all in the same, emotion. Just because I was 10 and a half.
Okay.
Right? So I was there. I was sitting in the stands, I watched Whitney Houston, and that was a special day, certainly. But that was a tough time on our family. It was really tough on my dad. It was. I don't think he'd be mad at me sharing that with you guys. He was kind of off the radar for us that whole week because we knew he was depressed. We were at the family hotel. He was at the team hotel. And, he was still in a cast and crutches and not capable of playing. But, yeah, I think Dad now is extremely grateful. He really is, over the top. Hey, I don't know if we would have definitely won the Super Bowl if I was the quarterback. And I got a second ring of it, right? Mm-hmm. He does bring up, and this is why my dad is cool as they come, right? He's never too egotistical. He goes, maybe that new style and how we played, because Dad, when he got hurt, was the number 1 rated quarterback in football that year. He was playing phenomenal football, and they were pretty aggressive throwing the ball down the field. And then Hostetler took over, and they said, the hell with throwing the ball so much. We're going to run the ball 3 out of every 4 plays and control the clock and shorten the game that way and depend on our defense. So my dad's been very real, and maybe that was the best way. Maybe we would have thrown it too much in San Francisco in the NFC Championship game. And that's where I always respect my dad for being a humble man.
It's interesting because I've seen the story where Parcells spoke with the team and said, listen, if we don't win, it's not because of Jeff Hostetler. It's going to be because of you bleeping guys making a bleeping mistake. Do you think Sean Payton, who's obviously from the Parcells tree, is that what he's telling Denver as well?
I think so. Yeah, you're right. He's cut from the same cloth that way. He'll find ways to push buttons on everybody. I've heard so many stories of Sean Payton in his New Orleans days. He is one of the best motivators out there. He'll put on a display every day, whether it's, hey, Wednesday, team meeting. He might show a bunch of talking media heads going, oh, the Broncos are done. They got no chance, right? Piss the team off a little that way. Then the next day come in and maybe show Frank Reich or Nick Foles, right? All of that stuff, Jeff Hostetler, and motivate his team. So he'll have stuff to keep them on edge, certainly. And we know he's creative and not afraid to take some chances in these moments. Come on. Who had a more gutsier play than Sean Payton calling an onside kick as the coach of the New Orleans Saints to start the second half against the Indianapolis Colts? So I wouldn't be surprised if he, calls a few trick plays in this one, like a Bill Parcells to give the team advantage as well.
I'm curious, Chris, because we used to always work with Greg Buttle on the Jet pregame show, and he was a guest on our show, and he said there's no such thing as bulletin board fodder, players in big games, you can't get them more up than they are. And I used to disagree with them, but I didn't have anything to fall back on other than my own instincts. Is there bulletin board fodder? Can you juice up a team even more than they would be normally in a big game?
Yeah, I understand his point. I mean, the players are ready to go with the magnitude of the game no matter what. They are. They understand that. They're all going to understand. But can you add a little more fuel to the fire, though? Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Because, what a really good coach will make it about is, yeah, we know how big the game is, but let's make it personal, right? Like when you saw Liam Cohn the other week, right, when he talked about Sean Payton being a small market team. I mean, Sean Payton was trying to give them a compliment. Nobody's giving them respect for as good as they are because they're a small market team. Liam Cohn took it as, hey, they're calling us a small market team and we won't be there. And, yeah, so anything a coach can do to make it personal on the players and rally together even more and do that, yeah, I do think there's benefits to that. So, yeah, I think bulletin board material, even in the championship weekend or Super Bowl weekend, is still a real thing.
Were you surprised by McDermott getting fired?
Surprised but not shocked, right? I knew this was a possibility. I had talked about it a lot on my podcast leading up to the Jacksonville Jaguar wild card game, right? So I think we all knew that there was a possibility, at least in NFL circles. I guess I was surprised it happened as quickly as it did. I was surprised with how badly they handled the press conference yesterday and all that. Yes, that was a disaster, right? And, they lost in an unfortunate way. That was an interception. By letter of the law, that's an interception. The problem is the letter of the law is wrong, right? And that's where we've lost common sense in football. If you and I were in the backyard with our kids and our cousins and everybody else, and I caught a ball like that, and then we fell down and you rolled over me and pulled it out, we'd be like, hey, Michael, you're crazy. I was down. That was a catch. So they need to rewrite the letter of the law there. And then the other part of it is, there's too many examples of them calling it the other way through the year. There's inconsistency as we talk about it again. I showed a play on my Instagram, Aaron Rodgers catching the ball against Baltimore as he's falling down on his helmet. They said that was down by contact. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. They gave him the catch and overturned the interception where the guy took the ball off his helmet as he was trying to hold it with one hand as he was falling to the ground. So that's what I think a lot of people are up in arms about, is that it's been inconsistent. And then, yeah, I do think that they got to rewrite the language of the rule a little bit.
Just you bringing that up, Chris, that's the amazing thing to me about the Tyree catch, that Harrison did not just snatch it off the helmet. That he somehow held on to it all the way to the ground.
And let me just tell you, Rodney Harrison is strong as hell.
Yeah.
Still. He's 51 years old, and Rodney Harrison's still a pit bull, like on the loose. I wouldn't mess with Rodney Harrison for anything. So, yeah, that tells you how awesome David Tyree was. But my big thing with Buffalo, and just back to that to finish it, I don't agree with McDermott being fired. I'll say that. The Buffalo Bills have been put in this, they're a Super Bowl football team. And you've heard it enough from me this year where I've said they're a real good team with a all-time superstar quarterback, that because of that, they're being put in the Super Bowl conversation. But look at the number of all-pros they've had over 7.5 years of going to the playoffs every year. It's very limited. When you compare, let's say, Buffalo, who's supposed to be a Super Bowl team, compared to actual teams that have gone to the Super Bowl, those 49ers teams, they were loaded. All pros, first team, second team, everywhere, Pro Bowlers everywhere. Of course the Eagles, of course the Chiefs, Brady and the Bucks, the Rams and Stafford when they won it the first time around. There's nobody on Buffalo that anybody's worried about game planning on the defensive side of the ball, and there's nobody on the offense either. It's Josh Allen and James Cook. They don't have a number one receiver, Michael. They don't have a number two receiver. They have a bunch of 3s and 4s. And yet they have Josh Allen and Sean McDermott who have covered all these holes, and people put them, they should go to the Super Bowl. And I don't think they're nearly as talented as some of these teams that are left right now in the AFC playoffs. So, yeah, I did not agree with that.
Have you ever felt the way Allen felt after a loss?
Oh, yeah, I have. And, I think that was part of it, too. I think he knew if the way they lost, Josh Allen did not play well. He played awesome the whole first half and then made the dumb fumble and mistake that, he knows better right before the half. He missed a few throws. The post route interception in the third quarter, the guy was open for a touchdown. So I think between letting his team down and I think between him knowing there might be a chance McDermott gets fired now, that's why you saw those type of emotions. But I've been heartbroken before, but this is Josh Allen, and there's probably a different level there, especially when you're arguably the best player in football and you've yet to be to a Super Bowl, and that's got to be crushing for him.
Now, they always talk, Chris, about winning the press conference. Obviously, the Bills lost the press conference yesterday. Yeah. I thought that Harbaugh, it's a blowout victory in that press conference. Was that about as good as it could get?
I'm with you. I sat there and watched it, and I was like, man, my wife was sitting next to me, on the couch later that night, and I was just like, is this professional? Is you reading off a damn teleprompter? He was perfect, no doubt about it. You want to talk about walking into a building and making a building feel confident that the right captain, soldier, whatever, is leading us in the right direction. That's how it's done. And then also to say all the right things, throw a few jokes in there, right? Introduce his family, all that. I think he's made for the Giants. I really do. And I'm so pumped for it because I think he believes in a lot of the staples that the great teams of the Giants have always believed in. Coughlin, Parcells, Jim Fossil. We're going to be bigger and tougher and more physical than everybody else. That's what the Giants were famous for, and they've kind of gotten away from that. So I'm glad they got everything figured out within the organization. I understand him wanting some things changed there. I totally do, and I'm pumped that he's the head coach.
All right, final thing. NBC has the Super Bowl. Do you plan this far ahead, Chris, where you're picking out what you're wearing on the pregame?
Yeah, actually. Yes, it's funny you're bringing that up. I actually started to stress about it about 10 days ago.
Now, does your wife help you, or is it all you?
No, I asked the wife a little bit. I do. I kind of get down the road, and then I go, would you like this or do you like that, right? Gotcha. I don't let her do everything. But, yes, I panicked a little bit. When you're on, a program like that for 5.5 hours and there's that many eyes, you don't just want to wear your, normal outfits. And it's a special day, so I wanted to find something special to wear. So I think I got it all figured out.
All right, good stuff. We will talk to you when we find out what the matchup is next week. Tell us about the podcast and how people could get it.
Yep, Chris Sims Unbuttoned. We go live on YouTube at 10 a.m. on Mondays, live on YouTube at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Wednesday, it's taped, but it's in the afternoon. Thursday, I do a pick spot. You can find it anywhere you find your pods, but if you want to get into the weeds of football, come see me at Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
Excellent. Chris, we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the games this weekend.
You too, man. Be good. I'll talk to you.
All right, thank you. Hey, it's Michael K. Not sleeping? Well, it could be your mattress. That's why I always recommend my friends at PC Richard & Son. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step mattress fitting process so that your new bed fits you perfectly. They guarantee it. Top brands like Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. And in-home delivery on any mattress, $199 and up, well, it's free. So do what I do. Get to PC Richard & Son for your new mattress. PC Richard & Son. Free delivery. Excludes Manhattan.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Show your team spirit and save big only at Security Dodge during the Start Something New sales event. For a limited time, score an extra $500 off on top of all rebates and new incentives just for coming in and wearing your favorite team's jersey or swag. High school, college, or pro, football, basketball, hockey, and every sport in between. It's easy to win big at Security Dodge in Amityville. Visit us today or shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com.
It's Championship Sunday and the Wiz has you covered. Who's going to the big game? Join one of the nation's top sports betting analysts, Joe Wiz, as he talks about Championship Sunday, New England at Denver and LA at Seattle. Plus, the Knicks and St. John's are in action, and soccer, UFC, and horse racing from Gulfstream for the $3 million Pegasus. Follow the Wiz on Instagram at Joe Wiz Sports. It's the best bet in town. The Fine Line with the Wiz, Saturday at 8 a.m. Be ready to win.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Palmieri to the net. Score!
The New York Islanders are back in action with a brand new theme night schedule you won't want to miss. Bring your friends out for the holidays and take home a custom holiday replica jersey or arrive early for special bobblehead giveaway nights for Matt Barzell and Bo Horvat.
For Barzell. For Horvat. Score!
Explore the full theme night schedule at NewYorkIslanders.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Welcome back to the show. Now, we have not had an opportunity to talk about the Knick-Net game from yesterday. So the Knicks embarrassed the Nets. I mean, it was an embarrassment to a proportion that it's hard to even wrap your mind around. They beat the Nets 120-66. That's the lowest point total for any NBA team this year, 66 points. 54 points winning margin. That's the largest ever for the Knicks in the history of their franchise. The Knicks have won 13 straight games against the Nets. Now, sometimes it takes a child to give you some perspective. And, you know, in watching the game, I'm going, well, what's the big deal? The Nets are terrible. Doesn't mean that the Knicks have straightened anything out. And my 11-year-old son, Charlie, looked at me and said, but you thought it was significant that the Mavericks beat the Knicks, and the Mavericks had 5 guys that would be, playing big minutes hurt in that game. So why does this not count? But that did. And I said, you know what? You're right. We said it was awful that they lost to the Mavericks. So we can't just dismiss the fact that they annihilated the Nets, although they should. I think it's going to be a bigger test on Saturday when they play the Sixers, who they're 0-2 against this year. But the Nets didn't belong on the same floor. They didn't play with the same intensity, and the Knicks won that game 120-66. But the one thing that jumps out at me about the Knicks and the issues that are going on right now, before yesterday's game, I had this written down to talk about yesterday, and we didn't have the time when the Bellinger news broke. Brunson said, we have to care a little more about what we're doing. It has to mean a little bit more to us. And my question to Jalen and to every Knick team and go, well, why don't you care? What could have gone wrong in the wiring that you don't care? You have to care a little bit more? That's something that shouldn't even be an issue. Now, a lot of people are comparing the Mike Brown situation to the Don Nelson situation. Don Nelson got off to a great start that year when he took over the reins after Pat Riley left. And then slowly it fell apart. Mike Brown got off to a great start. And coming into yesterday's game, they lost 9 of 11. So even with the win, they've lost 9 of 12. It's not good. Now, the Knicks cut bait right away. They did not stay with that mistake. The players did not like Nelson. Patrick Ewing didn't like Nelson. And they did have the ready-made answer then with Jeff Van Gundy. They don't have the ready-made answer now. And they have a lot more money invested in Brown than they did in Nelson. And also they're still paying Tom Thibodeau $10 million a year for this year and the next 2 years to not coach. And he has not gotten another job, so there's no offset. The Knicks are putting a lot of money into this coaching staff, especially the head coaching position. They got to straighten it out. That's the only answer. Straighten it out with Mike Brown. I don't think Mike Brown's being gotten rid of or anything like that. And, also, everything comes back a little bit where you say, well, Thibodeau wasn't all that wrong. So Thibodeau had a very short rotation, didn't play the bench all that much. And boy, people jumped on him about that. In an era of load management, you're overusing your players. But the Knicks last year were remarkably healthy. And at the end of the year, they were fielding a healthy team. Well, now all of a sudden, Jordan Clarkson is out of the rotation. Yabusele, now everybody played yesterday because it was such a blowout. Yabusele is going to end up being traded. You don't see Tyler Kolek anymore. So we used to laud the fact that, Mike Brown had a 10-man rotation. It's not going to be a 10-man rotation. You got to whittle it down. You go with the people that you trust. It's going to be at most an 8-man rotation, maybe sometimes 9. So where are all the people that screamed, well, it didn't the rotation didn't go deep enough. He didn't play Kolek enough. Well, Kolek played a lot when the Knicks were playing well, but you could see that Brown doesn't like the way he plays defense. And Jordan Clarkson, who actually played well for a stretch, he's not in the rotation anymore. And one of the things that Mike Brown said, it's hard to play everybody. Gee. So it's okay for Mike to say that, but it wasn't okay for Tom to say that. Now you can say, well, Tom didn't play everybody because he didn't trust everybody. True. But maybe this is also a way of Mike Brown saying, I don't trust Jordan Clarkson to be out there. I don't trust Yabusele to be out there. I don't trust Kolek to be out there. So there is no 10-man rotation this year. You're going to still see the starters play big-time minutes. Brunson, Hart, they're going to play big-time minutes. OG, big-time minutes. Bridges, big-time minutes. Cat, and then Robinson. So the bench is not going to go that deep. You got McBride, you got Robinson, and you got back Landry Shamet. That's pretty much your rotation, right? Maybe I'm missing somebody, but that's your rotation. All of a sudden, it's not that big of a deal, right? It was such a big deal when the rotation was short with Tibbs. But now you see, it's hard to play that many people and keep a rhythm and get people the proper minutes so they can excel. So Knicks 120, Nets 66, and I know the Nets are not fielding a great team, but that's an embarrassment. The way they performed yesterday, that's an embarrassment. I watched the game. At times it looked like they weren't even trying. They were overwhelmed by the Knicks. Overwhelmed. Something happened today that, some things that happen in sports, you go, well, that seems weird. That doesn't work. This was perfect. To me, it's perfect. And that's this. Bob Costas is going to host the pregame show on Sunday Night Baseball on NBC. Perfection. Now, Bob didn't feel that he was as sharp as he used to be doing play-by-play, and he stepped away last year. I disagreed with him. I think he's holding himself to an incredibly high standard, and in a world where everybody with a mobile device becomes a media critic, every mistake you made is amplified. We're seeing it happen with Al Michaels. And to Al Michaels' credit, he doesn't give two bleeps about what you think. He's still going to come back, and he's going to be the play-by-play announcer on Prime. He doesn't care that you don't think he's as good as he used to be. He still thinks he's good. And that's all that matters. And Prime still thinks he's good. Bob Costas didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear all the criticism. And also, he felt that he had lost a little something. He was not as sharp as he was, let's say, 15 years ago. But one thing, in the history of sports television, there is no one better on a pregame show, on a talk show, on an interview show than Bob Costas. And you can see with the NBA on NBC, they're trying to go back to the past. They even have the guy does the intro voice. The guy's passed away. They're using AI to recreate his voice. So they understand the value of nostalgia. But in this case, you're not bringing back a guy who can't do it anymore. Bob Costas coming back and hosting the pregame show on Sunday Night Baseball is absolute perfection. Absolute perfection by NBC. And I texted Bob earlier and I said, congratulations. And he said, you know what? It's the right way to tie a ribbon around it. So he knows he's probably on the 16th hole of his career. I'm not going to say 17th. He might even be on the 15th because I think he's great. And it is a perfect way to tie a ribbon. That's where he started. He kind of gained his fame first with baseball, then did football, Olympics. He's done it all. And for him to be at the mic when NBC gets back baseball, absolute perfection. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. I want to talk to you before we throw it to Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. So please, we've got the lines clear for you. Call in right now, and we'll talk with you when we get back. But first, I want to tell you, FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boost means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. You know, the Patriots are in Denver to meet the Broncos for the right to go to the Super Bowl, and the Rams are in Seattle to meet the Seahawks, also for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Thursday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Are the Knicks back on track after a dominant performance against the Nets?
First time that the Knicks have had a 50-point lead since 2013.
To go see them put it together for 48 minutes it was a lot of fun.
Plus, after the Mets trade for Freddy Peralta, how would you grade the Mets pivot this offseason? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off and every day 0% financing. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends January 31st, 2026.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Step inside the game you love with the NBA app. Tap to watch every game as it's happening.
Jalen Brunson does it again!
And never miss a moment of the jaw-dropping action. Get closer to the players than anywhere else. Follow the latest schedules, scores, and stats. Keep up with every story from across the league. And with NBA ID, it's all personalized to you. The game lives here. Download today.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're finishing up. Final 8 minutes before we turn it over to Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, so stay tuned for that. Always a great show. They do an unbelievable job. I do listen to them right after the show. You should as well. And I thank you all for listening to this show. The response has been so tremendous, and you're listening on 880 AM and ESPN New York app, and so many people are consuming the show on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. So many people. And I guess it's because of my just incredible good looks that you want to see the visual and not just hear what I'm saying, but see how I'm saying it. So thank you for that. I joke about it, but it's really cool that you've consumed the show that way. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Alan in Clearwater. Alan.
How you doing, Mike?
Hey, Alan.
How you doing today?
Good, thank
you.
you.
Hey, man, I want to thank you for the distraction. I've been fighting a bad bug here, and your show the last few days has been a pleasant distraction.
Thank you. I hope you feel better, man.
I got a trade proposal for you. Would you do it? The Yankees send Dominguez and Stanton to the Padres with Tatis Jr.
Well, I would do that in a second, but there are a couple of things. I don't think, A, the Padres would do it. Number two, Stanton has a blanket no-trade clause, which I don't think he would waive. He loves playing for the Yankees. Loves it. And the Yankees love him as well. I mean, obviously they wish that he'd be healthy the whole year, but health is what health is. You can't dictate that. But if you sat me down and said, would you trade those two people for Fernando Tatis? Alan, in a second. I wouldn't even think twice about it. But I think that the Padres would demand pitching that they could use in the majors right now. So, yeah, I think you'd have to start with a Cam Slittler. I think you'd probably have to include a George Lombard. Whatever the top prospects are. Elmer Rodriguez, Hess. I mean, it would take a lot more than Stanton or Dominguez. But if it's Stanton or Dominguez, you're questioning me? Yeah, I would do it in a second. I just don't think that they would. Let's go to Moose in Jamaica. Moose.
What's going on? How are you, Michael? Good afternoon.
Great. How you doing, Moose?
Doing great. So, yeah, the whole Bellinger thing, never really wavered or concerned. Always felt he was coming back, even though, like the previous caller said, would I rather have no Belly, no Grisham, and a Machado, a Tatis, and a Seager, but for some reason they weren't moved, even though both teams, the Padres and the Rangers, said they were looking to unload salary. I thought that could make us stand toe-to-toe with the Giants, bona fide postseason killers at the plate. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't think they would have gone for Machado. Machado's contract is extended beyond the point that he is going to be as effective as a player. The reason that I like the possibility of Tatis, he's young, and when his contract ends, I think he's 36. So you're not getting those drag down the contract years. So what looked like an incredibly aggressive contract at the time actually is a very fair contract that averages annual value of just over $26 million a year. Now, it is backloaded, so the back years are more money. But I look at that guy. That's a guy, his personality moves the needle. He's that sort of player. He's a superstar. And I think there's more there. And if you put him in Yankee Stadium on that stage, I think he'd be tremendous. But A.J. Preller said he's not being moved. So when you say you'd like to, yeah, there's a lot of things we'd like to have. But if those things are not for sale, you can't get them. You'd like to have the Mona Lisa hanging in your living room, but it's not available. So if Tatis is not being moved, and I don't think they would have gone for Machado anyway, you can't make them move them. You just can't. You could try, and we don't know how much of an effort they put into it and whether or not they think the same way I do and some of you do, that Tatis would be a perfect answer. But if Preller says they're not moving him, and I thought they were going to cut a lot of salary too. Not only did they not do that, but they signed Michael King back for $25 million. So maybe there's more money there than we think. Let's go to Steve in Queens. Steve.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for taking the call.
You got it.
I thought it was too late to talk about the Hall of Fame, but I wanted your take on it.
Well, of course you can talk about it.
My opinion is the Hall of Fame's become a TV show. Carlos Beltran was a great player until he cheated. Andruw Jones was one of the very good players. And then he had the last 4 or 5 years, he really did nothing. I think it's a TV show. Please call me or have somebody call me when Jim Edmonds, and I'm not really a National League fan, but Jim Edmonds, Thurman Munson, and Mattingly get in. Because these guys, it's like, I don't consider them Hall of Famers. Maybe I'm an old fogey, but love to hear your take on it.
Well, I think Beltran is a Hall of Famer, and I don't know why he got the brunt of the blame when it came to the sign stealing scandal. They say, he's the one who dreamed it up, and everybody took part in it. So the manager of the team, A.J. Hinch, lost the Astros job, sat out a year, and now he's a manager in great standing with the Tigers, just got an extension, makes big money. Alex Cora was on that staff. Lost his job for a year, came back, bigger and better than ever, a well-respected manager for the Red Sox with a long-term contract, making as much money as anybody. Every other player did not suffer. Anybody. Altuve didn't suffer. Bregman didn't suffer. Springer didn't suffer. None of them suffered. None. The guy who suffered? Carlos Beltran. He lost his job with the Mets as the manager without managing a single game because they got scared and they fired him. He was just a player on that team. He was not a manager. He was not a coach. He was a player. A.J. Hinch could have shut it down. He did not. Every other player could have tried to shut it down. They did not. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer who had to wait till his 4th year. Now, if you want to sit here and debate Andruw Jones, I can debate that with you because the last 6 years of his career, he was horrendous. I think the combined WAR, for those 6 years was 1.2. His greatness was from age 19 to age 30, and after that, off a cliff. But he's got over 400 home runs, one of the great defenders of all time. You mentioned Jim Edmonds. Well, you look at the support that a guy like Torrey Hunter got. Torrey Hunter's numbers, other than the home runs, are pretty even to Andruw Jones and was a tremendous defender in a tough ballpark. He was playing on green concrete at the Metrodome, and he doesn't get the support that he should when it comes to Hall of Fame voting. Listen, the Hall has changed. It's much more inclusive. It's much more inclusive for guys that had shorter-term greatness. That's why Mattingly should be in now. That's why Munson should be in. There are a lot of players that should be in that just had those brief greatness spurts, but then had injuries or fell off a cliff. So now that that's changed, my proposal, have them all be able to be voted on by the writers again. Because the Veterans Committees, it's too difficult. Have them all be eligible to be voted on. Willie Randolph should be in because Chase Utley's going to get in. You compare Chase Utley to Willie Randolph's numbers, pretty similar. You compare Jeff Kent to Willie Randolph's numbers, other than the home runs, the WAR. Willie Randolph has one of the highest WAR of all time for second baseman, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. So I think everybody, because it seems like the voters concentrate on different things now. Everybody should recalibrate, let them all have the ability, maybe over 2 or 3 years, to vote for all of these people that have been left out previously that would have gotten in now the way the actual voting block thinks. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think that would be the fair thing to do. Don Hahn Rosenberg coming up. Tomorrow we give you our 2-pack. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be here at 1 as we always are. Hope you join me at that time. Stay tuned for the 3 guys next, and that's coming up in just a moment. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon.